Jack Harper stood at the viewport of the mining vessel Horizon, watching the colorful gases of the Cygnus Nebula swirl outside. After 15 years in deep space, the sight still made him feel small. The ship hummed around him, the sound of the ore processors working at full capacity. They had been mining in this sector for 3 weeks now, and their holds were nearly full. Just 2 more days, and they could head back to Earth. "Captain, you might want to see this." Jack turned to see Alan Peterson, his young navigation officer, holding a tablet with a concerned look on his face. Jack took the device and studied the screen, his brow furrowing as he processed the information. "These energy readings don't look normal," Jack said, tapping the screen. "How long have they been increasing?" "About 6 hours, sir. They were so small at first that the computer didn't flag them, but they've doubled in the last hour." Jack nodded and handed the tablet back. "Keep monitoring it. Let me know if anything changes." As Alan left the bridge, Jack made his way to the medical bay. The automatic doors slid open with a soft hiss. Inside, Dr. Olivia Wright was studying something under a microscope. "Got a minute, Doc?" Jack asked. Olivia looked up, brushing a strand of blonde hair from her face. "Of course, Jack. What's up? We're getting some strange energy readings." "Might be nothing, but I'd rather be careful." Before Olivia could respond, a large Maine Coon cat with thick orange fur jumped from a nearby shelf, landing with surprising grace for its size. The cat darted under a cabinet, its tail puffed up. "Whiskers? What's wrong?" Olivia knelt down, trying to coax the cat out. "He's been acting weird all day. Won't eat, keeps hiding." Jack frowned. "When did this start?" "This morning." "Around 0600. Hours. That's when the energy readings first appeared," Jack said quietly. The ship's intercom crackled. "Captain to the bridge. Incoming transmission from Earth Space Command." Jack and Olivia exchanged glances. "I better take this," he said. Back on the bridge, Jack settled into his chair as the main screen flickered to life. The stern face of Commander Lisa Martinez appeared, her Earth Space Command uniform crisp and formal. "Lieutenant Harper, we're tracking a plasma storm forming in your sector. Nothing like we've seen before. Our scientists are still trying to understand it, but you need to get out of there. Now." Jack leaned forward. "We've noticed some unusual readings. How much time do we have?" "The storm is forming faster than our models predicted. Originally, we thought 72 hours. Now we're looking at less than 24. Get your crew to safety, Lieutenant." "That's an order." "Understood, Commander. Horizon out." As the screen went dark, Jack hit the ship-wide comm. "All hands, this is the captain. Secure all equipment and prepare for immediate departure. We have a situation." He turned to Alan. "Plot us the fastest course back to the jump point." "Yes, sir. That will take about 6 hours at full speed." "Make it happen." Jack's next stop was engineering, where he found Sam Collins elbow-deep in an open panel, tools scattered around him. "Sam, we need to move. There's a plasma storm coming." Sam wiped his hands on a rag. "That explains the power fluctuations we've been seeing. But we've got a problem, Jack." He pointed to a diagnostic screen showing the ship's systems. "Our shields are only at 62% after that micrometeorite shower last week. Parts are still on the way from Earth. Will they hold against a plasma storm?" Sam scratched his beard. "A normal one, probably." "Whatever you're talking about. I don't know." Jack ran, a hand through his short brown hair. "How fast can we get them higher?" "I can reroute power from non-essential systems. Might get us to 75%. Do it." As Sam began working, the ship's alarm suddenly blared. Red emergency lights flashed throughout the corridor. "What now?" Jack muttered, reaching for his comm. "Bridge." "Report." Alan's voice came through, tight with tension. "Sir, The storm's changed course. It's accelerating toward us. New estimate puts it here in less than 4 hours. How is that possible? Unknown, sir. But it's heading straight for us like it's targeting the ship. Jack swore under his breath. Continue prep for departure. I'll be right there. He turned to Sam. Work faster. When Jack returned to the medical bay, he found Olivia frantically searching through cabinets and storage containers. What's wrong? He asked. Whiskers is gone, she said, worry clear in her voice. I was packing medical supplies, and he just disappeared. We don't have time for this, Olivia. We need to leave. I'm not leaving without him, Jack. He's more than a pet. You know that. Jack did know. Earth regulations forbade pets on deep space vessels, but Olivia had smuggled Whiskers aboard 3 years ago. The cat had since proven useful, detecting air quality issues before the sensors, and even once finding a radiation leak. The crew had kept the secret, and Jack had looked the other way. Fine, I'll help you look. But we have less than 4 hours before that storm hits. They split up to search the ship. Jack took the upper decks while Olivia checked the crew quarters. 20 minutes later, Jack's com beeped. Captain, this is Sam. I'm picking up an unauthorized access to the maintenance shaft near cargo bay. 3. Unauthorized? Is someone tampering with the ship? No, it's... Well, you're not going to believe this, but the camera shows it's the cat. Somehow he got the panel open. Jack changed direction, heading for the cargo bay. I'm on my way. Tell Olivia to meet me there. When Jack arrived, Olivia was already trying to pry open the maintenance shaft panel. The emergency override isn't working, she said, frustration in her voice. Sam jogged up, carrying a toolkit. Let me. He quickly bypassed the lock, and the panel slid open, revealing a narrow tunnel lit by dim blue lights. Whiskers? Olivia called, peering into the darkness. A faint meow echoed from deep within the shaft. Why would he go in there? Jack wondered aloud. Sam's com device beeped. He looked at it and frowned. The storm just accelerated again. It'll be here in less than 2 hours now. That's impossible, Jack said. Tell that to the storm, Sam replied. Grimly, the ship suddenly shuddered, throwing them against the wall. The lights flickered. What was that? Olivia asked. Sam checked his device again. Just the outer bands of the storm. The main part is still coming. Another alarm sounded, different from the first. Hull breach in the lower cargo section. Sam, read from his device. Right below us. Jack made a quick decision. Olivia, find Whiskers. Sam, get those shields up and fix that breach. I need to get to the bridge. As Jack raced through the corridors, the ship shook again, harder this time. He stumbled, but kept moving. The situation was deteriorating faster than he could respond. On the bridge, Alan was frantically working the controls. Captain, the propulsion system just took a direct hit from a plasma surge. Can we still move? Alan shook his head. Engines are offline. We're dead in space. Jack looked at the main view screen. Outside, beautiful but deadly waves of blue and purple energy approached the ship. What had been the gentle colors of the nebula now twisted into something violent and unnatural. Captain, Sam's voice came through the com. We're adrift, and the storm is intensifying around us. I've never seen anything like this. It's like the storm is hunting us. The bridge of the horizon fell silent as everyone stared at the view screen. The plasma storm swirled around them, beautiful and deadly. Waves of energy rippled across the ship's failing shields, creating flashes of blue and purple light. Give. ME options, Jack said, breaking the silence. Alan looked up from his console. Communications are down. We can't call for help. Sam, what about the engines? Jack asked through the com. There was a pause before Sam's voice came through. mixed with static. It's bad, Captain. The main power coupling is fried. I need at least 12 hours to repair it. We don't have 12 hours, Jack replied. The storm will tear us apart by then. I know. I'm trying to think of something else. Jack turned to the crew on the bridge. I need ideas, people. Anything. No one spoke. The ship shuddered again as another wave of plasma washed over them. The lights dimmed and came back on. Sir, Alan said suddenly, what about the mining equipment? The magnetic harvesters are designed to collect ore particles, even in extreme conditions. Jack considered this. You think we could use them to create some kind of shield? Maybe. They generate strong magnetic fields. If we could modify them, the ship's intercom crackled. Jack, it's Olivia. I'm still in the maintenance shaft looking for Whiskers. You need to see this. I'm a little busy trying to save the ship, Jack replied. This might help with that. I think I know why the storm is following us. Jack looked at Alan. You're in charge. Work with Sam on that harvester idea. He headed for the elevator. And someone find out what's happening with that hull breach. The trip to the cargo bay took longer than it should have. The elevators were operating at half speed to conserve power, and twice Jack had to take detours around sealed sections of the ship. When he finally reached the maintenance shaft, he found Olivia halfway inside, only her legs visible. Olivia. What's so important that in here, her voice echoed from the shaft. About 20 meters in, ring a light. Jack grabbed a flashlight from an emergency kit on the wall and crawled into the narrow tunnel. The metal was cold against his hands and knees. Pipes and wiring ran along the sides, some of them sparking from damage. He found Olivia in a small junction where several tunnels met. There, she said, pointing her light down one of the tunnels. Jack directed his beam that way and saw Whiskers sitting perfectly still, staring at something on the wall. As Jack moved closer, he saw it was a small device, about the size of his hand, attached to the inner hull of the ship. It was glowing with the same blue-purple color as the storm outside. What is that? He asked. I don't know, Olivia replied. But it's not part of our ship. And look, she pointed to small scratch marks around the device. Whiskers has been trying to get at it. Jack examined the device without touching it. It had no visible buttons or screens, just a smooth metallic surface with pulsing light. How long do you think it's been here? No way to know. But I bet it's what's attracting the storm. Jack tapped his comm. Sam, I need you at my location. Bring a scanner. While they waited, Jack tried to coax Whiskers away from the device. The cat refused to move, hissing when Jack got too close. He's never acted like this before, Olivia said, worry in her voice. Sam arrived 10 minutes later, out of breath from rushing through the ship. He crawled into the junction and whistled when he saw the device. That definitely ain't ours, he said, passing a handheld scanner over it. He studied the readings with a frown. It's putting out some kind of signal. Electromagnetic, but with patterns I've never seen before. Can you remove it? Jack asked. Sam shook his head. Not without knowing what it is first. For all we know, it could be a bomb. The ship rocked violently, throwing them against the walls of the tunnel. Whiskers yowled and darted past them, back toward the entrance of the shaft. Whiskers! Olivia called, turning to follow. Jack grabbed her arm. Let him go. We need to figure this out first. Captain, Alan's voice came through the comm. The storm just changed again. It's forming a funnel, like a tornado, and we're at the center. How long do we have? At the current rate of intensification, maybe 3 hours before the hull starts to buckle. Jack looked at the device again. Someone put this here on purpose. But who? And why? Maybe it was during our last supply stop at Station 12, Sam suggested. Anyone could have snuck aboard during the loading process, Olivia's eyes widened. The Centauri Mining Corporation has been trying to push us out of this sector for months. You think they'd go this far? Sabotage? Jack frowned. That's a serious accusation. We can worry about who did it later, Sam said. Right now, we need to decide what to do with it. Jack thought for a moment. If it's attracting the storm, removing it might make the storm dissipate. Or it might trigger something worse, Sam warned. Without knowing what it is, Captain, Alan interrupted through the com. Commander Martinez is back. She's found a way to boost the signal through the storm. Patch her through, Jack ordered. The com crackled, and Martinez's voice came through, breaking up every few words. Lieutenant, discovered something. Plasma storms are natural phenomenon. Someone is creating. Stay away from ... device. Commander, you're breaking up, Jack said. What device? Is it small? About hand-sized? With blue-purple light? EXACTL, why don't touch. Energy collector. Experimental technology. Stolen from ... research facility. The communication cut out completely. Great, Sam muttered. So now we know. It's stolen experimental tech, but not what it does or how to turn it off. The ship shuddered again, harder this time. The lights in the tunnel flickered. Captain, Alan's voice returned. Shield strength down to 40%. We're starting to see microfractures in the outer hull plating. Jack made a decision. Sam, keep studying. That thing, figure out if we can shut it off safely. Olivia, find Whiskers and get him secured. I need to check on that hull breach. They separated, each crawling through different tunnels. Jack made his way back to the cargo bay, then down to the lower level where the breach had been reported. The emergency bulkheads had sealed off the affected area, but warning lights showed the breach was still expanding through a small viewport. In the bulkhead door, Jack could see the cargo bay beyond. Crates and equipment floated in zero gravity where the air had escaped. And in the far wall, a hole about 1 meter wide showed the swirling plasma storm outside, tendrils of energy reaching into the ship like fingers. As he watched, one of the energy tendrils seemed to move with purpose, probing the room as if searching for something. It stretched toward the ceiling, toward the exact spot where the strange device was attached 1 deck above. Jack's cum crackled again. Captain, Sam's voice came through urgently. I think I know what this thing is. It's not just attracting the storm, it's feeding on it. And the more energy it absorbs, the stronger the signal gets, which attracts more of the storm. A self-reinforcing loop, Jack said, watching the energy tendril push further into the ship. Can we use that somehow? Maybe. But we need to get back to the engine room. I have an idea, but you're not going to like it. Jack followed Sam through the dimly lit corridors of the horizon. Emergency lights cast long shadows as they made their way to the engine room. The ship groaned around them, metal straining against the forces of the plasma storm. So what's this? Plan I'm not going to like? Jack asked. Sam glanced back. We can't remove the device without knowing what might happen. But we might be able to use it. Use it how? The device is drawing energy from the storm and converting it somehow. If we can tap into that energy, we might be able to jumpstart our engines. They reached the engine room, where a team of engineers worked frantically on the damaged systems. Sparks flew from open panels, and the smell of burnt electronics filled the air. The problem, Sam continued, leading Jack to a large diagram of the ship on a screen, is that we'd need to run cables from the device to here. 2 sections of the ship that are becoming unstable. Jack studied the diagram. That's at least 4 sections away, including 2 areas with hull damage. Exactly why you wouldn't like it. Sam pointed to a blinking red area on the display. And we'd need to cross through this section where the Artificial gravity is failing. Jack's cum buzzed. Captain, it's Olivia. I can't find Whiskers anywhere. But I did find something else. The computer shows unauthorized access to multiple systems over the past week, all from terminals that were logged out at the time. You think someone on the crew planted the device? Jack asked. Or Whiskers walked across keyboards again, Sam muttered. No, Olivia replied. The access was too precise. Someone knew exactly what they were doing. They were gathering information about our mining operations, our course, everything. Jack exchanged a look with Sam. Industrial espionage that went wrong? Maybe, Sam said. But right now, we need to focus on surviving. We can figure out who did what later. Agreed, Jack said. Olivia, keep looking for Whiskers, but be careful. Stay away from damaged sections. He turned to Sam. Let's get those cables. The two men gathered the equipment they needed. Heavy-duty power cables, tools, and portable shields to protect against radiation from the storm. They also grabbed emergency breathing masks in case they lost atmosphere. We'll need to move fast, Sam sighed, checking the ship's status on his tablet. The hull integrity is down to 63%, and that number is dropping. How long do we have? 2 hours, maybe less. They set out from the engine room, each carrying one end of the bulky cable. The first section of their journey was easy enough, through the main corridor that connected the ship's sections. But as they approached the damaged areas, the going got tougher. Gravity's starting to fluctuate, Sam warned as they entered the next section. Watch your step. As if on cue, Jack felt suddenly lighter. His next step sent him floating a few inches off the deck. He grabbed a handrail to steady himself. This is going to slow us down, he said. They proceeded carefully, using the handrails to pull themselves along. The cable floated behind them, snaking through the air. It would have been almost fun under given circumstances. Halfway through the section, the ship lurched violently. Jack lost his grip and tumbled through the air, spinning in the zero gravity. He reached out desperately and managed to catch a pipe running along the ceiling. You okay? Sam called, still clinging to the handrail. Yeah, Jack replied, orienting himself. But we need to hurry. They continued on, reaching the next section where the gravity returned to normal. Jack felt heavy, each step, requiring extra effort. Gravity's compensating for the previous section, Sam explained. It'll balance out soon. As they moved deeper into the ship, the damage became more evident. Panels hung loose from walls, and sparks showered from damaged circuitry. The air grew hotter, the environmental systems struggling to cope. Jack's cum crackled. Captain, Alan's voice came through. The storm is still intensifying. We're seeing structural failures in sections 8 through 12. We're in section 9 now, Jack replied. How bad is it? Bad enough that you should move faster. As if to emphasize the point, a loud crack echoed through the corridor ahead of them. A support beam had split, sagging from the ceiling. We need to go around, Sam said, checking his tablet. There's a maintenance passage that connects to section 10. They backtracked to a small door, marked authorized personnel only. Sam punched in his access code, and the door slid open to reveal a narrow passage barely wide enough for one person. You first, Jack said. You know where we're going. Sam nodded and squeezed into the passage, pulling the cable behind him. Jack followed, the walls pressing in on both sides. The passage was hot and humid, condensation dripping from pipes overhead. Had gone about 20 meters when Sam suddenly stopped. What is it? Jack asked, unable to see past him in the narrow space. There's something blocking the way, Sam replied. Looks like ... Is that Whiskers? Jack tried to peer over Sam's shoulder. Whiskers? What's he doing here? Not just sitting. There, Sam said. "He's with someone." A voice echoed from ahead of them. "That's far enough, Captain." Jack recognized the voice immediately. "Alan, what are you doing down here?" "You're supposed to be on the bridge." "Plans change," Alan replied, his voice cold. "Drop the cable and back up." "We don't have time for this," Jack said. "The ship is falling apart." "That's kind of the point," Alan said. "Now back up, or I start shooting." Sam and Jack exchanged glances. Slowly, they began backing up through the passage until they reached the corridor again. Alan followed, holding a small pistol in one hand and Whiskers in the other. The cat seemed unusually calm in his grip. "You planted the device," Jack said, understanding dawning on him. "You're working for Centauri Mining." Alan smiled. "They pay better, and they don't send people to the edge of nowhere for months at a time." "So you're sabotaging our ship? Trying to kill us all?" "That's a long way from corporate espionage, Alan." "No one was supposed to die," Alan said, weighting the gun. "The device was just meant to gather data on the plasma storms. Centauri wants to harness them for energy. But then your cat kept trying to mess with it, and things got complicated." "Why? Is Whiskers so calm with you?" Olivia's voice came from behind Alan. He spun around to see her standing there, a fire extinguisher in her hands. "He knows me," Alan said. "I've been studying him. He has an unusual sensitivity to electromagnetic fields. That's why he kept finding the device. I've been using a small emitter to keep him away from it, but he's persistent." "So all this time," Jack said, "while we've been fighting to save the ship, you've been what? Waiting to escape?" "There's a shuttle," Alan admitted, prepped and ready. "I was about to leave when I saw you two heading for the device with cables. Can't let you interfere with it." "You won't make it through the storm in a shuttle," Sam said. "It's suicide. The device creates a safe corridor through the plasma. That's part of how it works." Alan backed toward a junction in the corridor, still holding Whiskers and the gun. "Now I'm leaving, and you're staying here. The shuttle bay is sealed," Jack said. "Emergency protocols." Alan smiled again. "I have override codes." As he turned to punch in a code on a nearby panel, Whiskers suddenly twisted in his grip, claws extended. The cat scratched Alan's arm, drawing blood. Alan yelped and dropped both the cat and the gun. Whiskers landed on his feet and darted away. Jack lunged forward, tackling Alan to the ground. The gun skittered across the floor, stopping at Olivia's feet. She picked it up, pointing it at Alan. "It's over," Jack said, pinning Alan's arms behind his back. "Sam, we still have a ship to save." Olivia stood guard over Alan, while Jack used zip ties from his emergency kit to secure the traitor's hands behind his back. The ship shuddered around them, a constant reminder that their problems were far from over. "What are we going to do with him?" Olivia asked, still pointing the gun. "Lock him in the storage locker for now," Jack said. "We don't have time to deal with him properly." Sam was already examining his tablet, recalculating their plan. "We've lost 20 minutes. Hull integrity is down to 57%. Together, Jack and Olivia pushed Alan into a nearby storage locker. Jack checked that the lock was secure, then turned to Olivia. "Find Whiskers and keep him safe. We're going to try Sam's plan." Olivia nodded and hurried off down the corridor, calling for the cat. Jack and Sam picked up their cable again and continued their journey through the damaged ship. "Alan said the device creates a safe corridor through the plasma," Jack said as they walked. "Could we use that to our advantage?" Sam thought for a moment. "Maybe, if we understood how it works, we might be able to expand that corridor, give us a way out." They reached the junction near the maintenance shaft, where they had first seen the device. The ship groaned loudly as another wave of plasma energy washed over it. "Let's get this done," Jack said. They crawled back into the maintenance shaft, dragging the heavy cable behind them. The device was still there, glowing brighter than before. The blue-purple light pulsed in a rhythm that seemed almost alive. "Careful," Sam warned as Jack reached toward it. "We don't know what will happen if we touch it directly." Sam took out a small toolkit and began working on the wall panel near the device. He carefully exposed the wiring behind it, then connected one end of their cable to the ship's power network. "Now for the tricky part," he said, wiping sweat from his forehead. "We need to tap into the device without setting it off." Jack's cum crackled. "Captain," Olivia's voice came through, "I found Whiskers." He was in the shuttle bay, scratching at another panel. "Another panel? What's there?" "I don't know yet. I'm checking." Sam was working carefully, using insulated tools to probe the device. "It's generating a massive amount of energy," he said. "More than our sensors can measure. Can we use it?" "I think so. But we'll need to." The ship lurched violently, throwing them both against the walls of the shaft. The lights went out completely, leaving only the eerie glow of the device illuminating their faces. "Emergency power just failed," Sam said grimly. "We're running on backups now." Jack's cum buzzed again. "Captain," Olivia's voice was urgent, "there's another device in the shuttle bay. It looks just like the first one, but it's not glowing. I think it's some kind of receiver." Jack and Sam exchanged looks. "A receiver?" Jack repeated. "That makes sense," Sam said. "The first device collects the energy. The second one receives it. Together, they create the safe corridor Alan mentioned. But why would Centauri Mining need two devices just to spy on us?" Sam's eyes widened. "They wouldn't. Unless ... Unless what?" "Unless they're not just collecting data. What if they're testing a way to harvest plasma energy? The first device attracts and collects it, the second. One converts it to usable power." "So we have a prototype energy harvester on our ship?" Jack asked. "A very dangerous, unstable prototype," Sam confirmed. "But if we can connect both devices to our engines, ... we might have enough power to escape," Jack finished. He tapped his comb. "Olivia, don't touch that device. We're coming to you." "Two." "Sam," he said, "let's finish connecting this one first, then get to the shuttle bay." Sam nodded and returned to work. He carefully attached clamps to the outer casing of the device, then connected them to their cable. "That should do it," he said, wrapping the connections with insulating tape. "Now we need to run this cable all the way back to the engine room, then get to the shuttle bay." They backed out of the maintenance shaft, pulling the cable with them. The corridor outside was now lit only by emergency lights, giving everything a red glow. They moved as quickly as they could, following their earlier path in reverse. The damaged sections of the ship were even worse now. Panels had fallen from the ceiling, and the air was thick with smoke from electrical fires. They had to climb over debris and duck under hanging wires dotting the section with fluctuating gravity. They now found themselves completely weightless. They floated through the corridor, pulling themselves along using handrails and pushing the cable ahead of them. "This is actually faster," Jack commented as they moved. "Small blessings," Sam replied. They reached the engine room to find it in chaos. Half the control panels were dark, and the engineers were working by the light of handheld lamps. "Get this connected to the main power bus," Sam ordered, handing the end of the cable to one of the engineers. "Then route it to the emergency restart system for the engines." "Will this work?" the engineer asked. "It better," Sam replied. "Otherwise we're all dead." While the engineers worked on the connection, Jack and Sam headed for the shuttle bay. They had to take a roundabout route as several corridors were now blocked by debris or sealed due to decompression. "Hull integrity at 42%, Sam reported, checking his tablet. We have maybe an hour before critical failure. They finally reached this shuttle bay to find Olivia standing guard over the second device. Whiskers sat nearby, watching it intently. It started glowing about 5 minutes ago, Olivia said, pointing to the device. Now it pulsed with the same blue-purple light as the first one. Sam examined it without touching it. They're synchronized. Now, the energy is flowing between them. Can we use this one too? Jack asked. We should. Double the power. Sam took out his tools again and began the same process of tapping into the device. Whiskers suddenly stood up, fur bristling. He hissed at the device, backing away. What's wrong with him? Jack asked. Olivia frowned. I don't know. He was fine. A moment ago. Sam's tablet beeped. He looked at it, and his face paled. The energy readings are spiking. Both devices are drawing in more power than before. Is that good or bad? Jack asked. Bad, very bad. Sam worked faster, his hands moving with practiced precision. The devices are overloading. If they blow, everyone dies, Jack finished. How do we stop it? I don't think we can, Sam said. But maybe we can use it. If we can channel that energy surge into the engines at just the right moment, we might get enough thrust to break free of the storm, Jack realized. Or we might blow ourselves up, Sam added. But at this point, I'm out of better ideas. Jack nodded grimly. Do it. Sam finished connecting the second device to another cable they found in the shuttle bay. This runs directly to the engine control systems. Now we need to get to the bridge. If we're going to ride this energy wave out, someone needs to steer. As they headed for the bridge, Jack couldn't help but notice that Whiskers stayed close to Olivia, as if sensing she would keep him safe. Despite everything, it made him smile. Even at the edge of death, some things remained constant. Humans looking out for each other, and their cats. The bridge was operating on minimal power when they arrived. Most of the screens were dark, and the few that worked showed alarming status reports about the ship's condition. Everyone strap in, Jack ordered as he took the captain's chair. Sam, are you ready with the engine restart? Sam nodded from the engineering station. On your mark. Jack looked at the main view screen, which showed the swirling plasma storm outside. It was beautiful in its terrible power, a force of nature they had no right to survive. But humans had never been good at accepting their limitations. Now, Jack said firmly. Sam pressed the sequence of commands that would channel the energy from both devices into the ship's engines. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ship began to vibrate. The vibration grew stronger until the whole ship was shaking. Loose objects rattled across consoles and clattered to the floor. The lights flickered, then suddenly blazed brighter than before. Power levels rising, Sam called out from his station. The devices are feeding energy directly into our systems. On the main view screen, the swirling plasma storm continued to rage around them. But now, thin lines of blue-purple energy stretched between the ship and the storm, like lightning connecting to a lightning rod. The engines are coming online, Sam reported, his voice rising with excitement. We have power. Jack gripped the arms of his captain's chair. Navigation. Plot a course out of the storm. Fastest route possible. Navigation is offline, Olivia reminded him. Ellen was our navigator. Jack unstrapped himself from his chair. Then I'll fly us out manually. He moved to the pilot's station and took the controls. It had been years since he'd flown anything larger than a shuttle, but the basics were the same. He studied the limited sensor data available, looking for any pattern in the chaos of the storm. There, he said, pointing to a section of the screen where the plasma seemed less dense. That might be our way out. The power levels are still climbing, Sam warned. I don't know how much longer the devices will hold together. Then we go now. Jack engaged the engines. The ship lurched forward, fighting against the pull of the thaw. Storm. The vibration intensified, the deck plates humming beneath their feet. Warning alarms blared as the stress on the hull increased. Hull integrity at 36%, Sam reported. Structural failure imminent in sections 7 through 14. Seal those sections, Jack ordered. Everyone out of the affected areas. Olivia worked the communications panel, relaying the evacuation orders. Whiskers sat in her lap, oddly calm now despite the chaos around them. The ship pushed forward, straining against the forces that tried to hold it in place. On the view screen, they could see the energy lines between the ship and the storm growing brighter, pulsing with power. "We're moving too slowly," Jack said through gritted teeth. "We need more power. We're already at maximum," Sam replied. "Any more and we risk overloading our systems completely." Jack studied the controls, thinking quickly. What if we redirect power from life support? Just temporarily. That would give us maybe 3 minutes of air, Sam calculated. After that ... We'll be out of the storm by then, Jack said with more confidence than he felt. Sam hesitated then. Nodded. Do it. Jack rerouted the power. The lights dimmed and the air circulation fans slowed, but the engines roared with new strength. The ship surged forward, picking up speed. "It's working," Olivia called out. The view screen showed the edge of the storm getting closer. They could see normal space beyond it, the stars shining bright and clear. Suddenly, a warning alarm sounded. From Sam's station. "The devices are reaching critical levels," he said urgently. "They're going to overload." "How long?" Jack asked, not taking his eyes off the view screen. 1 minute, maybe less. Jack pushed the engines harder. The ship shuddered under the strain, metal groaning in protest. 30 seconds, Sam counted down. They were close now. The edge of the storm was just ahead, a boundary between chaos and safety. 20 seconds. Jack made a small course correction, aiming for the thinnest part of the storm wall. 10 seconds. The ship was moving faster than it was ever designed to go, the hull glowing from the friction with the plasma dot, double quotes, 5.4, ... Brace for impact. Jack shouted ... double quotes 2.1. The ship hit the boundary of the storm with tremendous force. For a moment, it seemed like they might bounce back, trapped forever. Then, with a final surge of power, they broke through. The sudden absence of the plasma storm's resistance sent the ship hurtling forward into open space. Jack quickly adjusted the controls, fighting to stabilize their course. Behind them, a massive flash of light erupted as both devices finally overloaded. The energy discharge created a shockwave that pushed them even faster away from the storm. "Cut engines," Jack ordered. "Save what power we have left." The ship gradually slowed, the vibrations easing. For a moment, no one spoke. They simply stared. At the view screen, showing the plasma storm receding behind them and the open starfield ahead. "We made it," Olivia said quietly, stroking Whisker's fur. "Life support back online," Sam reported, his voice weary but relieved. "Hull integrity holding at 34%. Not great, but we won't explode anytime soon." Jack let out a long breath and sat back in his chair. "What's our position?" Sam checked the navigation systems, which were slowly coming back online. "We're about 12 hours from Station 45. They can provide repairs and medical assistance." "Set course," Jack ordered. "Best speed our engines can safely manage." As the ship limped toward Station 45, Jack left the pilot's station and walked over to where Olivia sat with Whiskers. The cat seemed perfectly normal now, purring as Olivia petted him. "How's our hero?" Jack asked, reaching down to scratch behind Whiskers' ears. "Happy to be alive, like the rest of us," Olivia replied with a smile. He knew something was wrong before any of our instruments detected it, Jack said, and he found both devices. We might want to keep him around officially after this. I think. That can be arranged, Olivia agreed. The next 12 hours were spent making emergency repairs and securing what was left of their cargo. Alan remained locked up, awaiting transfer to Station 45 security team. Jack had sent a full report ahead to Earth Space Command, detailing the sabotage and the experimental technology they had encountered. When they finally docked at Station 45, they were met by a team of engineers, medical staff, and security officers. Commander Martinez was there too, having traveled from Earth as soon as she received their report. Lieutenant Harper, she greeted Jack as he stepped off the ship. You and your crew have been through quite an ordeal. Yes, ma'am, Jack replied. But we made it. And you brought us valuable intelligence on Centauri Mining's illegal operations, Martinez added. Their CEO was arrested this morning. The company has been experimenting with plasma storm technology for months, causing significant disruptions in shipping lanes. What about the technology itself? Sam asked, joining them. Those devices were unlike anything I've ever seen. Our scientists are very interested in your data, Martinez said. The ability to harvest energy from plasma storms could revolutionize space travel, though hopefully with proper safety measures next time. As they talked, Olivia emerged from the ship, carrying Whiskers in her arms. Martinez raised an eyebrow. Is that a cat on your deep space vessel, Dr. Wright? Olivia tensed, but Jack stepped forward. That's Whiskers, Commander. Ship's official plasma storm detector and hero of the hour. I'm putting him in for a commendation. Martinez looked surprised and laughed. I'd like to hear that story. It's a good one, Jack said, smiling, about how humans never give up, especially when there's a cat to save. Later, as the crew rested in the station's quarters, Jack found himself standing at a viewport, looking out at the stars. Olivia joined him, Whiskers cradled in her arms. What are you thinking about? She asked. How close we came to not making it, Jack replied honestly. And how, despite everything killer storms, sabotage, experimental technology, we survived. Because we worked together. And because of one very special cat, Olivia added, scratching Whiskers under his chin. Jack smiled. You know, the universe throws a lot at us humans. Deadly planets, cosmic radiation, vacuum, and now plasma storms. But we keep going. We adapt. We survive. It's what we do, Olivia agreed. Whiskers purred loudly, as if in agreement. Jack reached over to pet him, thinking about their next mission. There would be one, of course. Despite the dangers, humans would always explore, always push boundaries. Sometimes they'd bring their cats along for the ride,